maybe 5 years ago, I was a big, like, I only listened to death metal and black metal pretty much, which I still love today, but, you know, now I like pretty much everything. But if I had to name some bands that, like, directly influenced my style, you know, there are bands like Dream Theater, some of the progressive stuff, Meshuggah, Periphery, for any of you who know Gent. Yeah, just bands like that, bands who really know what they're doing in the studio, because what's important to me isn't incredible guitar playing, it's more to make the whole thing sound as good as possible. And yeah.
Well, I was going to say, you have a really melodic style with your playing.
Yeah.
You know, there are lots of ways to play the electric guitar. You definitely make a point to kind of have a clear melody, a clear harmony, you know, that sticks out. So, you know, I think I think it's incredible what you've been able to do.
That's what I do.
So I got a question now for Mike. Mike, you have a very, and it's amazing, but you have a very aggressive style of rapping. And my question for you is, how do you balance the subject matter that you're rapping about, you know, ponies, which is probably the nicest thing in the world, with your aggressive style? I mean, how do you kind of keep that balance? Well, and so I wanted to ask you, have you considered doing some tracks where it's more of a hybrid of your singing abilities, because you have singing abilities, and your rapping abilities? I mean, they're two different genres, but since you're talented in both, I was wondering if maybe you've tried or experimented with doing that. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I mean, it's incredible what you guys have been able to do. Minnesota Bronies, woo! All right, well, so this next question is for Dean Notive. I have to ask it because, you know, well, as another native Minnesotan, and again, you know, got to keep shouting out to them. Minnesota has a very rich and very diverse musical background. I mean, we're the state that Prince came from. You know, where you know, Marcy's Playground is from. I mean, there's a really, you know, the Velvet Underground, I think. But anyway, either way, we have a very diverse musical community, and I just wanted to know what the strongest elements of the local, you know, community have affected your music style, because you definitely have a very distinctive style.
If you say so. Well, it's probably, honestly, the electro-funk. They call Minneapolis the city of funk.
They do.
And it's just anything that touched the tables of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And a lot of stuff that Prince did, like all that stuff, anything with that real, just, you know, like SOS Band, even the Human League were produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I mean, that's kind of what I take away from the Minneapolis music scene, and it's kind of almost been forgotten about in Minneapolis. Like, everyone remembers Bob Dylan, nobody remembers Prince. And that's really a shame if you ask me, because I love Prince. I don't know about you guys. There, see, these are the people that like me, probably.
Well, I haven't forgotten Prince.
What?
I haven't forgotten Prince.
Good man.
I remember the Purple Rain.
Well, now also Chromeo, they love him, too, so.
Tombstone. Yeah. Speaking to the mic, please. They can't hear you.
Nobody can hear up front.
Is your mic working?
What?
Is your mic working?
No. Oh.
His mic is working.
It's not
Tombstone,
supposed to work.
You've done two very distinctive, different things when you've been composing your music. One is you've been singing, and the other has been the composing. It seems like they kind of are. Sometimes you compose your music based on what you've sung. Sometimes you sing based on what you've composed. I was wondering which direction you're going with your music. Are you going to be doing more singing in the tracks coming up, or are you going to be doing more of the producer side of things?
Like, what do I prefer?
No. What are you focusing on more? Do you think?
I mean, singing is fun, but I guess that it's more to do with composing that I really like, especially remixing, because it usually gives me the freedom to like take a song and re-envision it and try to take it to a different direction that which usually fits my style. And this is what I usually do when it comes to this type of stuff. So composing is more towards what I do, and singing is not my best in that area. I mean, I love singing, but it's usually where composing where I fit much better in. And when it comes to singing, I usually give it to another person to sing for me or something, because usually it fits better and it gives me different variations of styles. So yeah, composition is definitely it. So yeah.
Well, and I should say, yeah, I know from what you've told me behind the scenes that you're definitely working on a lot of new production elements. Can you talk or tease people about some of the music that you're going to be coming out with soon, like, that you're working with big name producers in Israel?
There's one right now. I mean, in Israel, there's no many big producers that even know about this thing, like the Pony fandom or making anything towards that. But I am trying to bring over, like I have somebody I knew from Facebook. He was contacting me and he's from Israel. So it is a totally different kind of music. He's making the kind of acoustic stuff that most of us Israelis make anyway. So I'm very excited to release the song, hopefully in the next 2 weeks. It's a song about, there was this one episode about Screw Loose. That's the crazy pony that barks a lot. So there's going to be a song about her, at least one. So yeah, I'm excited to work with him, and it's a fantastic song. So far, it's going well. Yeah.
My next question is for Alex.
Yes.
Mr. Alex S.
Yeah.
I've noticed that you release a select few songs, but those songs are very, very perfected. And I wanted to know how many works in progress you have behind the scenes that you don't release. And kind of as an associated question, how much of a perfectionist are you with the music you do release?
I'd say around 20 songs that I haven't finished, and only like 6 or 7 are going on the EP. So yeah, I don't know. I just start a lot of things, and then I get inspiration. I'm like, oh, let's start another song. Then halfway through that, I'm like, oh, let's start another song. And then I end up with like 30 projects, and then nothing's done.
Do you then just have, when you start it and then you get to a certain point and then you decide, this isn't working, and then you just save it? Or, I guess my question is, do you draw elements of the songs that you haven't released into the songs that you will release?
Yeah, definitely. Like, just comes to a point where you get just start going in circles with what you want to produce, and you just figure, hey, just take all the elements of those songs, just make one song and release it. And yeah, so that's pretty much how I work with it.
Well, my next question is for Makan. Makan, you mentioned earlier that you might be willing to do a piano concerto, but is there another type of orchestral sound that you would like to emphasize in a new track? Maybe something strings, brass, woodwinds, something like that. Would you consider a clarinet concerto? Would you consider a brass trio? What are your thoughts if you considered just varying, the makeup of the orchestra you work with?
Mike says I should do a kazoo quartet. But in all honesty, I am limited to what I can do because I can't perform any of these instruments myself. There's a lot of incredibly high-end sound libraries available, such as native instruments. All of them are compatible with Contact, which is the virtual instrument that I use. And if they have a good sound library, I can make it into a song. And I'm just really waiting for a good woodwinds library to come out. In fact, one is actually currently being released called Cinewinds, and when that comes out, I'm going to make use of it.
I'm excited to see that. I am, or I should say, hear that. Jackal, I've described earlier your style of music as a hybrid between electric and acoustic. It seems to have both elements really clearly. Have you considered making a more definitively electric song or a more definitively acoustic song, or is there a direction in your music coming up here that you see it going?
Well, at the moment, like, what I got currently in production, I'm moving more towards like an acoustic heavy sound, incorporating, I have a viola and an acoustic guitar, and I'm gonna try and record some, and then just infuse it and chop it up and mix it with synthesizers. It's leaning more towards acoustic these days, but I do want to continue just going complete. I want to still be able to do complete electronic and complete acoustic, and a mixture of the two. So honestly, the direction I'm going is like pretty much staying the same, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's working very well.
Thank you.
My next question, I guess I'll start with Mike on this, and I'll maybe jump back. The last time we had one of these conventions, it was just about halfway through season 2. And I know that a lot of the music that you guys produce is actually made between seasons. And I wanted to ask you, Mike, you know, do you see your style, especially after the season finale? And again, I think we deserve, you know, a round of applause for Daniel Ingram and what he's done with the show. Daniel Ingram and Will Anderson, the scoring director of the program, both have obviously done an incredible job this second season. And my question is, especially as a Disney music aficionado, and especially after what we got in the season finale with you know BBBFF and This Day Aria, which I think everybody loves, incredible song. Do you see your music style being influenced by what's happened in the second season? Yeah, I think we can, to be honest. Well, and I was going to then ask, you know, I guess I can ask this of Aviators here. Of the season finale songs, which was your favorite as as kind of an 80s sound, you know, New Order type sound singer?
The best song by far from the season finale was definitely This Day Aria. While Love Is in Bloom was an 80s style song, it was catchy. No one can deny that that song was perfect, composition-wise, lyrics, vocals, everything. So that was my favorite.
Well, and I have to say, definitely with the deceptive cadence they used in the song when they found that out, and Daniel admitted that that's what he had done. I mean, that's just brilliant composing. Dean Oda, do you find that Daniel Ingram's style of composing, or his consistent use of D-flat major has kind of influenced your style of composing? I know you've done some remixes, but you have quite a few original tracks as well.
I feel like it's kind of a trick question almost, because I've only actually even remixed 2 songs. I mean, my '87 Becoming Popular house remix was pretty straightforward, because the whole song was in E-flat major, and then bringing it to C minor was just natural.